Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to the fourth episode of Guyfluence. Today I am very excited because we have an amazing guest. He's a father, an amazing client, a beautiful soul, and the most important thing, he's a medicine icon. And today he's going to talk to us about an amazing subject that we should all be educated on. And so let's meet Dr. Suri. Let's go. Hello everybody, this is Dr. Suri.
Hey everybody, how are you?
So we have Dr. Suri today. He's going to talk to us about a very, very important subject. Dr. Suri is an icon of the medicine, and I'm so excited to have him here today. How are you, Dr. Suri?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me. I was up early this morning, saw a few patients, and now I'm coming here to be on Guyfluence. So March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, you guys, and those are hard words for people to say. Colon, rectum, anus. These are hard words for people to say, yet the fear of these words is what has so many people dying from this disease. And this disease is almost totally preventable and totally treatable. And so we're going to kind of discuss the ins and outs, pardon the pun, of colorectal cancer surgery, and more importantly, prevention.
Now that we have Dr. Suri and Cheryl, let's just find out a little bit more about him first. So Dr. Suri, are you original from LA? Are you from LA originally?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised in Baldwin Hills, which is right here in Los Angeles, right up the street from where we are right now. And my dad was from Compton. My mom was from Louisville, Kentucky, and I have a sister, and I grew up right down the street. Proud Southern California boy.
There you go. And are you married? Any family?
Yeah, so I'm married, and I have two daughters. My daughter just turned. Getting sad now, but that's getting she's turned 13. The other one is turning 11. But those are the loves of my life, and that's why I kind of go on this whole preaching tour about preventable diseases and why it's important to take care of yourself so you can take care of your loved ones, but also so your loved ones know what diseases that they can help prevent in themselves. And so, that's kind of how I got involved. I always said that I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up, but.
Yeah.
If you break your arm trying to fly, jumping off the roof a couple times, you realize you can't fly. You got to figure out another way to save lives. So that's why I chose the career path I chose.
Wow, that's amazing. Wanted to take advantage that we have him here, and so we can get educated, like I said. So what is colon cancer?
All right, so that's a great question. Well, what I like to explain is that all cancer is when the cells that make all of our bodies become stupid. Basically, the reason my fingers are this long as opposed to this long is because the cells know when to stop dividing. Well, when cells lose the ability to stop dividing and to die, they just grow and grow and grow, and then that takes all the nutrition out of one's body because it's just these cells keep growing, they outgrow their blood supply, and that's what cancer actually is. So colon cancer are when the cells in the colon lose the ability to stop growing, and they just keep growing. And I always say that it's a very preventable disease for two reasons. Number one is from what we put in our bodies. So what's really neat is that when I ask people what's the job of the colon, most people say to make poop. Well, that's not the job of the colon. So whenever you take food and you put it in your mouth, you chew it up, masticate it, you swallow the food, it goes down your esophagus, it goes to your stomach. The stomach has acid in it, that's what grinds up the food. And then it goes to your small intestine. So the small intestine, also known as the small bowel, that's where all the actual absorption takes place.
Ooh.
So then it goes to your colon. And now the job of the colon actually is to reabsorb water, and what's left over is the waste, which goes to your rectum, where it's stored for a socially appropriate time to let it go, as I like to say. See, I see Frozen movies a lot. Yeah, right. But this is what is the purpose. And so the things that we put in our body, no matter what you eat, it has carcinogens in them, things that can lead to cancer. And so from the time you put anything in your body, you want your body to absorb what it needs, and you want it to expel it as soon as possible. And that's what the colon's real job is. And so, the key is really twofold. Number one is a lot of fruits and vegetables. Doctors always say, drink a lot of water, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, but we don't ever say why. Well, the reason we do that is because of fiber. So fruits like blackberries, blueberries, raspberries have about 7.2 to 7.5 grams of fiber per cup. And what's cool about that is that the fiber helps to hold water in the colon so that you can have an easier time eliminating, and it can eliminate quicker to get rid of the carcinogens in your body. But what's interesting is how colon cancer affects different populations in America at a different rate.
Yeah, so that is what we're going to ask you. So it is more propense on men or women?
So that's a great question. So it's about equal in men and women. So what's interesting is that colorectal cancer in America is the #2 cancer killer of men and women in America. So #1 cancer killer of men and women is lung cancer. Still got to stop the smoking, people. #2 in women is breast cancer. #2 in men is prostate cancer. And the third most common cancer in men is colon, and in women is colon. But when it comes to cancer killers, when you put these two populations together, it's the #2 cancer killer. About 50,000 people a year will die from colorectal cancer.
Would you say more women than men
No,
died of, or equal?
Equal.
Okay.
It's equal, so it affects both of us. Now, what's different though is the racial makeup. So African Americans have the highest rate of colorectal cancer and death from colorectal cancer in America, followed by Caucasians. #3 is Latinos. However, what's interesting is Latinos get younger than everybody else, but Latinos in south of the border barely don't get as much colorectal cancer as they do here.
Wow.
African Americans, like I said, has the highest rate of colorectal cancer, but Africans, Uganda, Nigeria have the lowest rate of colorectal cancer in the world. So how does that make sense? How does that work? And so that's always been kind of my challenge, but it's really what we put in our bodies and avoiding obesity. Those are the two biggest things.
Yeah.
In Uganda and Nigeria, there's no obesity and everything is farm to table and there's little meat intake. In this country, we eat a ton of red meat. Red meat is a carcinogen. It is something where if you eat enough, you are putting your body at risk. The way we break down red meat is into something called a nitrosamine, which can help cause colon cancer.
Yeah.
These other countries don't eat a lot of red meat.
Okay, and what are the most common symptoms on colon cancer? What are the most common symptoms? How would we know if we getting it, or how to be aware of that?
So that's the hardest part with colon cancer, is that the early symptoms are so nondescript. So for colon cancer, most common symptom is like abdominal pain, which who hasn't had a little abdominal pain in the past, and also changes in bowel habits. What's really important is that, like, if you're used to going every day, and all of a sudden you're going once every 3 to 4 days and it's hard to go, if that lasts about a month, then you need to get checked out. For rectal cancer, it's different. It's a blood mixed in stool. So you can have blood that comes out while you have a bowel movement. Now that happens to a lot of people, and a lot of times it can be hemorrhoids, but if it consistently happens over about a month or so, you should get checked out. So hemorrhoids are the most common cause of bleeding, and they're not cancer.
Okay.
But a lot of people will just have bleeding and say, oh, it's just hemorrhoids. And they'll have that for years. But the key is, they should go get checked because you want to make sure that it's not something else.
How often will you think we should get a colonoscopy?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. So what a colonoscopy is basically a patient goes to sleep and we have a scope, and you put a scope inside the rectum and you look at the entire colon. Now what's neat about this test is that it is not done to find cancer. That's what I always tell patients.
Oh, wow.
A colonoscopy is not done to find cancer. A colonoscopy is the only test a man can have, and one of only 2 tests a woman can have that actually prevent cancer. So people say, how is that possible? So, I lost my mom to breast cancer. So my mom passed away about a month before I graduated med school from breast cancer. When women want to learn that they have breast cancer, they get a mammogram. Mammogram is good at finding cancer, but you can't prevent it. Prostate exams, you look for prostate cancer in a man, you can find it, but you can't prevent it. All colon cancer starts as these small little growths that you can see with a colonoscopy called polyps, and you take the polyps out while you're doing the colonoscopy so it never has a chance to grow into a cancer. And so that's what makes this so powerful. You can prevent this disease, #1, by what you choose to put in your bodies. Only 8% of colon cancer is hereditary. So most of it is things that you can do is, eat healthy, drink water, eat a lot of fiber-rich foods. And #2, get your colonoscopy when it's time. Because a colonoscopy, once again, is done to prevent cancer. It's important that people know. You don't do it to find it, you do it to prevent it by taking out a polyp, a growth, before it becomes a cancer. You know, obviously from all this, I like to go and talk, but what I really like to do is get out into the community. So I go to a lot of African American churches, I go to Latino churches, I even go to Korean churches.
That's amazing.
I even go to Korean churches because Koreans, the highest cancer death is colorectal cancer in Korean Americans. So I want to say Ayun Haseyo to all my Korean brothers and sisters. And, and so I try to really give back just because I really think that there's an important message out there. You know, dealing with what I deal with, a lot of people don't like to think about it. And culturally, a lot of people don't like to talk about it. But it's really important because we don't do that. People are dying every day, and as I've hopefully elucidated, you shouldn't have to die from this cancer. This cancer, if you do, first of all, it should be prevented. But even if you do get it, it has almost a 95% cure rate when caught in stage 1. And so even if patients were spread to other organs, stage 4, patients can still live a long time and have a good quality of life while they battle their disease.
It is a month of awareness for colon cancer because we have breast cancer awareness and all this. It's a colon cancer month?
Yes, so March, thank you so much for having me here. March is the Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So what does that mean? First of all, I'm going to be tapping Kat here and Jorge here to do a strong arm selfie. So everybody's doing selfies. And you make a muscle like this, it's called the strong arm selfie for colorectal cancer. You'll see that all over the place. I'm gonna get a picture with you guys doing it, and we're gonna post that in March.
I love it.
And it's really, make sure, you guys, so I know the audience of Guyfluence is relatively young. Make sure you talk to even your parents. If they're over the age of 45, make sure they got a screen, their colonoscopies, they talk, and you, make sure you get your screening. Don't be afraid, I guarantee you literally go to sleep, you have anesthesia, you wake up, everybody says everything is fine. Colorectal cancer, colonoscopies are not done to find cancer. They're done to prevent it, Kat. Prevent it. And thank you guys so much for having me. And listen, I know this subject can be taboo, and I really appreciate you for helping to bring it to the light, bring it to the forefront. Thank you so much, Kat.
Well, thank you for coming to see us. Thank you for being my client for so long. I love you so much. You're amazing and inspiration.
I love to operate, but what I really like to do more than operate is if I can get rid of colon cancer and never have to do another colorectal cancer operation in my life, that would be great because it's something that can be prevented on multiple fronts.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, and I'll see you in your next Guyfluence.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. And can we do some bloopers in the end?
Bloopers.
Oh, bloopers. Yeah, close enough. Okay.
She said okay, no. She said okay, no.
Okay.
You guys, like I said, you gotta live with purpose, you gotta work with purpose, you gotta think with purpose. And you gotta get your style done with purpose. And this is what Kat and Jorge Guyfluence is all about. It's about living purposefully, doing everything purposefully, purpose LA.
Oh, no, awesome.